The galaxy believed humans were gone. For a very long time, no one had seen them. No signals. No ships. No messages. Just silence. Slowly, their name became a story, and then a myth. In the center of the galaxy, the most powerful alien leaders sat together in a place called the Council Hall. It was a massive structure floating in space, shining with cold white light. Every great species had a seat there. They talked about war, trade, and power. But when someone mentioned humans, they laughed. Humans, one leader said with a smile. They destroyed themselves long ago. They were too emotional, another said. Too weak to survive. A third one added, if they ever existed at all. The room filled with quiet laughter. To them, humans were nothing more than a failed species. A mistake of history. And so, the galaxy moved on. Years passed. Then decades. Everything was normal. Until the silence began. At the far edge of known space, there was a small mining station. It was not important. It did not have powerful weapons or large fleets. It was just a place where workers lived and mined rare materials from a dead planet. Life there was simple. Ships came and went. Workers followed their routine. Machines worked day and night. Then one day, the station stopped sending signals. At first, no one noticed. It was far away. Small. Easy to forget. But after a few days, the supply ships did not return. Then the communication lines went completely dead. No messages. No warnings. Nothing. Just silence. The council was informed. At first, they did not care much. Probably a system failure, one leader said. Or pirates, another guessed. Still, they decided to send a small patrol fleet. Just to check. 3 ships were sent. Fast. Well armed. Professional. They reached the mining station in a few days. Everything looked normal. Too normal. The lights were still on. The station was still active. Systems were running. But something felt wrong. There were no ships outside. No movement. No signals. The patrol fleet called the station. Mining Station 47, respond. No answer. They tried again. Nothing. The commander of the patrol gave the order to dock. A team of soldiers entered the station. The doors opened slowly. Inside, everything was quiet. Too quiet. The lights flickered softly. Machines were still running. Screens were still active. But there were no people. No workers. No guards. No bodies. The soldiers moved carefully through the halls. Stay alert, the commander said. They checked every room. Living areas. Control rooms. Everything was empty. Beds were unmade, like someone had just left. Food was still on tables. Tools were lying on the floor. It looked like everyone had disappeared, at the same time. Without a fight. Without a sound. One soldier stopped near a control panel. Sir, you need to see this. The commander walked over. All the screens were showing the same message. Over and over again. A simple line of text. They are coming back. The commander frowned. What does that mean? No one answered. The message kept repeating. Again. And again. And again. The patrol searched deeper into the station. No damage. No signs of attack. No signs of escape. It was like the people were never there. But they had been there. Everyone knew that. Then they found something else. A recording. The final log from the station commander. The video was broken. The screen flickered. The commander appeared on screen. His face was pale. His eyes were wide with fear. He looked behind him again and again, like something was there. We were wrong," he said in a shaking voice. "They're not gone." A loud noise echoed in the background. The man froze. "They're here." The screen shook. Then darkness. The recording ended. The patrol returned to their ships. Something was not right. This was not pirates. This was not an accident. This was something else. Something unknown. The commander sent a full report to the council. But even then, many did not believe it. "Strange, yes," one leader said. "But not important." "It's just one station," another added. They chose to ignore it. They chose to move on. Days later, it happened again. Another station went silent. Then another. Then a transport ship disappeared. Then a colony. Each time, the same story. No damage. They are coming back. Fear slowly began to grow. Not loud. Not sudden. But quiet. Like something watching from the dark. Waiting. Far beyond the edge of known space. In a place where no alien ship had ever gone. Something moved. It was massive. Silent. Hidden in darkness. Lights slowly turned on across its surface. One by one. Like stars waking up. Then more shapes appeared behind it. Hundreds. Then thousands. All waiting. All ready. Back in the galaxy. The council still did not understand. But they would. Very soon. Because the silence was about to end. The galaxy was no longer calm. At first, the missing mining station was easy to ignore. One small place in a very large galaxy did not matter much. But now, it was not just one. More places were going silent. A trade ship vanished on a normal route. It had a full crew and strong defenses. It never reached its destination. Then a research station stopped responding. It was protected by security drones and advanced systems. Still, no signal. Then a small colony disappeared. Hundreds of people, gone. No message. No warning. No bodies. Just silence. The council could not ignore it anymore. Leaders from many species gathered again in the Great Hall. This time, there was no laughter. The air felt heavy. "What is happening?" one leader asked. "No enemy has claimed these attacks," another said. "No signs of war," a third added. "No destroyed ships. No energy weapons. Nothing." "That is what makes this worse," someone whispered. The room became quiet. Because they all understood one thing. This was not normal. More fleets were sent out. Not small patrols this time. Large, powerful fleets. Each one had warships, scanners, and trained soldiers. They were ready for battle. But there was no battle waiting for them. Only silence. One fleet arrived at the missing colony. From space, everything looked fine. Buildings stood tall. Lights were still on. Defense systems were active. But there were no ships leaving. No signals. No life signs. The fleet commander felt uneasy. "Scan everything," he ordered. The scanners showed something strange. Power was still running. Air systems were working. Machines were active. But there were no living beings. Not a single one. The commander sent a ground team. They entered the colony slowly. Their footsteps echoed in empty streets. Doors were open. Vehicles were left in place. A child's toy was lying on the ground. Still. Silent. One soldier picked it up. "It feels like they just left," he said quietly. But that was impossible. No ships had left. No one had seen anything. They moved deeper into the colony. Homes were empty. Food was still on tables. Screens were still on. Everything looked normal. Except for one thing. There were no people. Then they found the central control room. All the screens were active. All showing the same message. Just like before. "They are coming back." The commander stared at it. His chest felt tight. "Who are they?" one soldier asked. No one answered. Suddenly, one of the systems made a strange sound. A low hum. The lights flickered. The soldiers froze. "Did you hear that?" someone whispered. The commander raised his hand. "Stay alert." The sound stopped. Everything went quiet again. Too quiet. They returned to the ships. The report was clear. No attack. No damage. No signs of struggle. Just disappearance. Back at the council, fear began to spread. This was no longer a small problem. This was something growing. Something moving. Something no one understood. Then, finally, something came back. A ship returned. It was part of a fleet that had gone missing days ago. It appeared suddenly near a major system. Drifting. Damaged. Silent. The council quickly sent rescue teams. They boarded the ship. Inside, it was dark. Emergency lights were flashing. The air was cold. Something felt wrong. They found survivors. Only a few. Out of hundreds. The survivors were in bad condition. Shaking. Breathing fast. Eyes wide with fear. One of them was the captain. He was still alive. But barely. They brought him to the medical room. Leaders watched through a screen. This was the first time someone had come back. The captain opened his eyes slowly. His hands were shaking. "Captain," a voice said gently, "what happened to your fleet?" The captain tried to speak. But no words came out. Only fear. After a long silence, he finally whispered. We saw something." "What did you see?" the voice asked. The captain's eyes moved slowly. Like he was looking at something far away. In the dark. There was a shape. The room became still. "What kind of shape?" the voice asked. The captain swallowed. It was too big. Too big to be a ship. Too quiet to be alive. His breathing became faster. "They didn't attack us. They just watched." The leaders looked at each other. "Who watched you?" one asked. The captain's voice dropped to a whisper. "Humans." The room went silent. No one spoke. No one moved. "That is not possible," one leader said quickly. "Humans are gone." The captain shook his head weakly. "No. They were there. Waiting." Suddenly, the captain grabbed the bed tightly. His eyes opened wide. "They are coming." Before he could finish, his body went still. The monitors went flat. The room was silent. Completely silent. The rescue team checked the ship logs. There was one final recording. The leaders watched it carefully. The video showed empty space. Dark. Still. Then slowly. Something appeared. A shadow. Huge. Blocking the stars behind it. No lights. No clear shape. Just darkness. Then, it moved. Smooth. Slow. Controlled. The video ended. No one in the council laughed this time. No one spoke about myths. No one called humans weak. Because now, for the first time, the galaxy felt something new. Fear. And far beyond their reach. In the deep darkness of space, the silent fleet continued to move. Closer. And closer. The galaxy was afraid. For the first time in many years, the Council of Stars had no answers. The missing colonies, the silent stations, the empty ships, and now, the word that no one wanted to hear again. Humans. The great hall was quiet. No one laughed anymore. No one called humans weak. Because something had changed. The final recording from the lost ship played again. The dark shape in space. Huge. Silent. Watching. Every leader in the room stared at it. "What is that?" one asked. No one replied. Because deep inside, they already knew. Then, a new voice spoke. It was old. Calm. Different. "I know what you are looking at." All eyes turned. At the back of the hall stood an old historian. He was not a warrior. Not a ruler. Just a keeper of ancient records. Most leaders ignored his kind. But today, no one stopped him. "Speak," the council ordered. The historian walked forward slowly. His steps were quiet, but his presence filled the room. "You are not seeing a new enemy," he said. "You are seeing an old one." Some leaders shifted in their seats. "That is impossible," one said. "Humans are extinct." The historian shook his head. "No," he said softly. "They were never extinct." The room grew tense. "Then where have they been?" another leader asked. The historian looked around the hall. Then he answered. "Waiting." Silence fell again. The word felt heavy. Dangerous. The historian continued. "Long ago, before this council was formed, before many of your empires even existed, humans were already exploring the stars." Some leaders looked surprised. They had never heard this before. Because these records were hidden. Forgotten. Or erased. Humans were different, the historian said. They were not the strongest. Not the most advanced. But they had something no one else had. "What?" a leader asked. The historian paused. Then he said. "They never stopped." He looked at the recording again. When others failed, they tried again. When others feared, they moved forward. When others followed rules, humans broke them. They grew fast, he continued. Too fast. They learned war. They learned peace. They learned how to survive in ways no one understood. One leader leaned forward. "If they were so powerful, why are they gone?" The historian's eyes became serious. Because the galaxy feared them. A low murmur spread across the hall. "Yes," the historian said. "There was a time when many species came together, not for peace, but for control. They saw humans as a threat. So they made a plan." "What plan?" someone asked quietly. "To stop them." The room went cold. "They tried to control human expansion," the historian explained. They placed limits, rules, borders. But humans refused. They wanted freedom. So the galaxy pushed harder. More rules. More pressure. More control. And then, the historians stopped for a moment. They made a mistake. The leaders leaned forward. They attacked. Silence. Heavy. Deep. They thought humans would fall quickly, the historian said. They thought it would be easy. But they were wrong. His voice became stronger. Humans fought back. And not like any species before them. They adapted. They changed. They learned faster than anyone could understand. Every time they were pushed, they pushed harder. Every time they lost, they came back stronger. The historian looked around the room. They were outnumbered. They were surrounded. They were supposed to lose. But they didn't. The leaders sat frozen. So what happened? One asked. The historian's voice dropped. They disappeared. Confusion spread. Disappeared, a leader repeated. Yes, the historian said. One day, they were there. Fighting. Resisting. And the next day, they were gone. No final battle. No surrender. No victory. Just, gone. The room was silent again. Many believed they were destroyed, the historian said. Others believed they ran away. But a few, a very few, believed something else. What? Someone asked. The historian looked directly at them. They left on purpose. A chill moved through the hall. They went beyond the edge of known space, he continued. To places no one else dared to go. To places where they could not be followed. And there. They built. Built what? A leader whispered. The historian turned back to the screen. The dark shape appeared again. Huge. Silent. Watching. That, he said. The leaders felt fear rise inside them. All this time, one of them said slowly, they were not gone. They were preparing. The historian nodded. Yes. For something big. At that moment, a new report came into the hall. Urgent. The council leader opened it quickly. His face changed. What is it? Someone asked. He looked up slowly. Multiple objects detected at the edge of the galaxy. The room froze. How many? Another leader asked. The answer came in a quiet voice. Too many to count. Silence. The historian closed his eyes for a moment. Then he spoke one final time. They are not hiding anymore. Far beyond the stars. The darkness was moving. Faster now. Closer now. The truth was no longer a story. No longer a myth. Humans were real. And they were coming back. The galaxy was watching. Every system. Every station. Every ship. All eyes were turned toward the edge of known space. Because something was there. Something massive. At first, it looked like a shadow. A dark line across the stars. Then the sensors began to react. Signals started coming in. 1, then 10, then hundreds. Then thousands. They are ships, a commander said, his voice shaking. But, they are too big. The council received the same report at the same time. Every screen lit up. Every system showed the same image. The edge of the galaxy was no longer empty. Shapes began to appear. Slowly. Silently. One by one. The first ship came into view. It was enormous. Larger than any warship ever built by the galaxy. Its surface was dark, almost black, with faint lines of light moving across it. No weapons were visible. No engines could be seen. Yet, it was moving. Then another ship appeared behind it. And another. And another. Soon, space was filled with them. An endless line of human ships. Perfectly aligned. Perfectly still. They are forming a wall, someone whispered. The council hall was silent. No one spoke. No one moved. How many are there? One leader finally asked. The answer came from the central system. Unknown. The word echoed in the room. Because for the first time, the galaxy could not measure something. Panic began to spread. All fleets, prepare for battle, the council ordered. Defensive positions now. Protect all major systems. Across the galaxy, warships moved. Thousands of alien ships gathered together. Different species. Different designs. Different weapons. But they all had one thing in common. Fear. The fleets formed a massive defense line. Weapons charged. Shields activated. Commanders waited for the signal. And still, the human fleet did nothing. No weapons. No movement. No message. Just silence. They are waiting, one commander said. For what? Another asked. No one knew. Time passed. Minutes felt like hours. Every second was heavy. Then, something changed. One of the human ships moved. It was slow. Smooth. Controlled. It moved forward from the line. Alone. All alien weapons locked onto it. Thousands of targeting systems focused on a single point. Fire, a commander asked. The council hesitated. Wait, the leader said. The human ship kept moving. Closer. Closer. It stopped. Right in front of the defense line. Still no weapons. Still no message. The silence became unbearable. Then, without warning, a single alien ship fired. A bright beam of energy shot across space. Fast. Powerful. Deadly. It hit the human ship directly. The entire galaxy watched. The light faded. The human ship was still there. No damage. No movement. Nothing. It did nothing, a voice whispered. Then something impossible happened. The energy beam stopped. It did not disappear. It did not explode. It froze. Frozen in space. Like time itself had stopped. Shock spread through every ship. Every system. Every mind. What is this? A commander shouted. No one had an answer. Then the human ship moved again. It passed through the frozen energy beam, like it was nothing. Slow. Calm. Unstoppable. Behind it, the rest of the fleet began to move. Not fast. Not aggressive. But together. Like a single mind. The entire human fleet advanced. The alien defense line held position. Weapons ready. But no one fired. Because now, they understood something. This was not a battle. This was something else. The human ship stopped again. Closer now. Close enough to destroy everything. Still no attack. Still no sound. Then suddenly, every screen in the galaxy turned white. A signal. Strong. Clear. It reached every system. Every ship. Every planet. A message. The first message from humans in centuries. A voice spoke. Calm. Deep. Controlled. We did not come for war. The words echoed across the galaxy. No one moved. No one spoke. The voice continued. We gave you time. Images appeared on the screens. Old wars. Old destruction. Old mistakes. You did not learn. The voice did not sound angry. Not emotional. Just, certain. We left so you could grow. The human fleet remained still. Silent. Watching. But you are still the same. The message paused. The galaxy held its breath. Then the final words came. So we returned. Silence. Deep. Heavy. No threats. No demands. Just truth. The council sat frozen. They had prepared for war. For destruction. For revenge. But this was something far more terrifying. Control. The humans were not angry. They were disappointed. And that was far worse. Far beyond the fleets. More human ships continued to arrive. Endless. Silent. Powerful. The galaxy had doubted them. Now. They could no longer deny them. Because humanity had returned. And nothing would ever be the same again. The galaxy was frozen in fear. The human fleet stood in front of them. Silent. Massive. Unstoppable. No one moved. No one fired. Even the strongest commanders did not give orders. Because deep inside, they already knew. This was not a fight they could win. The last human message still echoed in their minds. We did not come for war. But no one believed it. Not fully. A nervous voice broke the silence. They are too close, an alien commander said. If they attack now, we cannot stop them. Another replied, then we must strike first. Fear began to turn into panic. And panic, into a mistake. Without waiting for orders. A group of alien warships fired. Bright beams of energy filled space again. Missiles followed. Fast. Powerful. Deadly. The attack moved toward the human fleet. Every eye in the galaxy watched. But this time, something different happened. The human ships did not move. They did not dodge. They did not raise shields. They simply stayed still. The attacks reached them. And then, they stopped. Not slowed down. Not blocked. Stopped. Thousands of energy beams, frozen in space. Missiles, hanging in the air. Like time itself had been broken. Shock spread across every system. That is impossible, one leader whispered. No known technology could do this. No shield. No defense system. Nothing. And yet, the humans had done it without effort. The human fleet began to move. Slowly. Calmly. They passed through the frozen attacks like they were not even there. One by one. They moved closer to the alien ships. No weapons fired. No destruction. Just presence. Then something else happened. Alien systems began to fail. Weapons shut down. Shields dropped. Engines stopped. One by one. Every ship lost control. Panic spread quickly. I can't fire. My systems are down. We are losing power. Commanders tried to fix it. Tried to restart. Tried to fight back. Nothing worked. The human fleet had taken control. Without touching them. Without attacking. Complete control. The council watched in silence. This is not war, one leader said slowly. No, another replied. This is domination. The human ship stopped again. Now they were inside the alien defense line. Surrounded by helpless ships. And still. They did nothing. No attacks. No destruction. Only silence. Then the message returned. The same voice. Calm. Strong. You chose fear. The words echoed everywhere. You chose to strike. The frozen weapons were still visible in space. A reminder. And still, we did not respond with war. The galaxy listened. No one dared to speak. We have seen this before. Images appeared again. Old wars. Old destruction. Old mistakes. You repeat the same path. The voice paused. But we will not. Silence followed. Then the humans showed something new. A damaged alien ship, one that had been lost earlier, appeared on the screens. It had been missing for days. Everyone thought it was destroyed. Now, it was whole again. Repaired. Its systems came back online. Lights turned on. Engines restarted. The crew inside was alive. Safe. Shock spread across the galaxy. They saved them, someone whispered. More ships appeared. Lost ships. Missing fleets. Empty transports. All returned. All repaired. All alive. The truth became clear. The humans had not been destroying anything. They had been taking them. Studying them. Fixing them. Preparing. We remove what is broken, the human voice said. And we return it, better. The message was clear. This was not revenge. This was control. With purpose. The council felt something they had never felt before. Not just fear. But understanding. The humans were not here to destroy the galaxy. They were here to change it. And they had the power to do it. Every alien ship was still frozen. Helpless. The human fleet surrounded them completely. Yet, no one had died. Not a single shot returned. Not a single explosion. Only one thing remained. A choice. The final message came. You can continue as you are. Or. You can learn. Silence filled the galaxy once more. The war never happened. Because it was never needed. And that was the most terrifying truth of all. Because now everyone understood. If humans ever chose war, there would be nothing left. The galaxy stood still. Every ship was silent. Every leader was watching. The human fleet surrounded them, but did not attack. The final message still echoed. You can continue as you are, or you can learn. No one spoke. No one moved. Because this was not a normal moment. This was a choice that would decide everything. Inside the council hall, the leaders looked at each other. For the first time, they did not argue. They did not shout. They did not try to control the situation. Because they understood one thing. They had already lost. Not in battle. But in power. One leader finally stood up. He looked at the others. We cannot win this, he said quietly. Another nodded. They have shown us everything. They can stop our weapons. They can control our systems. They can take our ships, and return them better. A third leader spoke, his voice heavy. And they did not destroy us. That was the truth no one could ignore. They had every chance, he continued. But they didn't take it. Silence filled the room again. Then the oldest leader in the council stood up slowly. His voice was calm, but strong. We were wrong. The words felt heavy. But they were real. We thought humans were weak. We thought they were gone. We thought they were a mistake. He looked at the screen showing the human fleet. But we were the ones who did not understand. The other leaders lowered their heads. Because deep inside, they knew it was true. The council made its decision. They sent a message. For the first time in history. The galaxy spoke not with power. But with honesty. We surrender. The message spread across space. Every system heard it. Every ship received it. Silence followed. Then the human fleet moved. Not in attack. Not in force. But slowly. Peacefully. The frozen weapons in space disappeared. Not destroyed. Just, gone. Alien ships regained control. Systems came back online. Engines restarted. But no one moved. Because now. Everything had changed. The human voice returned one last time. Good. The single word echoed everywhere. Then it continued. War was never our goal. Images appeared again. But this time, they were different. Broken worlds. Destroyed cities. Lost civilizations. This is what happens when power is used without wisdom. The voice remained calm. We have seen it before. We lived through it. And we chose a different path. The human ships began to spread out across the galaxy. Not as conquerors. But as watchers. They moved to damaged systems. To weak colonies. To unstable regions. Where there was fear, they brought order. Where there was damage, they repaired it. Where there was conflict, they stopped it. Not with violence. But with control. Slowly, things began to change. Trade routes became safe again. Lost colonies were restored. Small species were protected. The galaxy began to heal. At first, but it never came. Days passed. Then months. Then years. And still. The humans did not attack. Instead, they helped. They shared knowledge. Advanced technology. Better systems. They did not take control. They gave support. The council still existed. But it was different now. It no longer ruled with fear. It worked with guidance. And behind it all, the human fleet remained. Silent. Watching. Ready. One day, a young alien asked a simple question. Why didn't the humans destroy us? An elder answered quietly. Because they already knew what destruction looks like. The young one thought for a moment. Then what are they now? The elder looked at the stars. At the silent ships in the distance. And then he said. They are not rulers. They are not conquerors. They are guardians. The word spread slowly across the galaxy. Guardians. Not feared. Not hated. Respected. Because everyone now understood one truth. Humans were never weak. They were never just a story. They were something more. Something the galaxy needed. But did not deserve at first. And now. They were here to stay. Watching. Guiding. Protecting. The galaxy had doubted humans. But now, no one would ever make that mistake again. Because when humans returned, they did not bring war. They brought a new order. And in that order, the galaxy finally had a chance to become better.